Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Vegans Who Lift podcast. This is going to be episode 12, the season finale. And if you're watching, you already know we got something special in store for this one. So, of course, we always have your favorite vegans, Brooke Sellers, aka Miss Meatless Muscle, and myself, John Thomas, aka the Bodybuilding Vegan. But today, we got a very special guest. We got the man, the myth, my mentor, my brand manager, really the person who made this podcast happen when it happened, Sean Russell. What is up, brother?
So glad to be on this side of the recording. I've had the privilege and honor of being in the green room for all 11 episodes. And I'm excited to talk with you guys.
Exciting. Yay.
Exciting. A little backstory. I feel like this is interesting. I almost never click on stuff on Facebook. Sean almost never posts anything on Facebook. But in November, I think, or maybe it was October last year, 2023, he put up something like vegan business owners looking for growth or something like that. Message me. I didn't realize he had just posted, but I sent him a DM. I was like, let's talk. And we started talking, and we started talking about me. But then he's like, so what are you guys doing with that Vegans Who Lift Facebook page? I was like, oh, that's just me and Brooke's fun little side project. We just post vegan memes and stuff. And I believe Sean was like, well, y'all ever thought about doing a podcast? And I was like, we were just talking about it, actually. But we had no clue. We had no clue what you do and how you made this so smooth and accessible and on all the platforms and strung together and on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. So I don't know. This is just very special for me to have you on here because I feel like if it wasn't for you, we might have started, but not on this level and not as soon. So thank you.
Gratitude.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We've never talked about how really the podcast started. So that might be a fun way. I mean, just for a few minutes. I mean, because basically me and John, we knew we wanted to do a podcast because forever we were like, we wanted to do a project together, but we really didn't know what we could do. We're both coaching, but we were like, how could we coach together? Like, how's that going to work? Like, eventually we figured it out this year and we're doing it. But last year we were just trying to figure out like, what could we do together? And I'm like, well, we could do a podcast. And I knew I wanted to do a podcast. And I was like, I was kind of like going through some stuff. So I told John, I was like, I think I'm going to do a podcast, like get myself in a good space. He's like, hey, if you need a co-host, I'll be your co-host. And I'm like, let's do it. And it's crazy. I knew about Vegans Explore, or not Vegans Explore, South Florida Vegans.
Yeah, South Florida Vegans.
Yes, before I knew you, Sean. I forget how, but I used to live down in South Florida. So I just word of mouth, I had heard people like talk about you and like the guy who runs SoFlo Vegan. So it's crazy. It's crazy that we all came together and like me and John, like we were gonna just make it happen, but like this is so much better than I could have imagined because of you, Sean. Like the graphics, just like the intro, the interactive part, like all of the media for Instagram, like it wouldn't have been this awesome without you for sure.
And podcasting has grown so much. Like I've had the privilege of being in it the very early stages. I'm talking 2007, I launched my first podcast, and that was really at the beginning. And it's such a great way to get the word out about what you're doing, as well as connecting with people that you probably wouldn't be able to connect with otherwise. Like I've been able to meet CEOs and actors and a lot of really cool people because I had a podcast. And for a lot of them, it was the first time they were on a podcast. So they're nervous, even though they're like crushing it in other platforms, but it's a different thing, especially if you're unfamiliar with it. So when I, had the honor and privilege of working with the both of you, and I think I had both of you, and we were in one of these sessions talking about brainstorming something or another, and just to see the dynamic that the two of you have, and it's amazing. As a matter of fact, I heard about John. Well, actually, I don't know how I met you two. I'm thinking I know Corinne Sutton connected me with you, John.
Yes.
And did you connect me with Brooke?
Yes, he did.
think
early.
so.
We're talking the vegan world, the Vegan Health and Fitness Expo.
Oh,
Back,
the vegan.
yeah. So no, okay. So back then we had a Vegan Health and Fitness Expo in Fort Lauderdale, and I was the marketing person for that. And
Yes.
I reached out to John for that, and I think John connected me to you during that event, during for that event and everything. So it just kind of kept going and going. And then, like you said, I was a complete random situation. Like when I post on Facebook, I post when I feel the urge to. Like I feel like it's a download that tells me to post. I never like strategically, I'm gonna post on my no, it's like I wake up and I'm like, okay, I've got to write a 15 paragraph essay on what's on my mind, and I post it. So if you look on my Facebook feed, most of my long posts, that's what that is. And then one day I'm just like, you know what? And John like messaged me like within a minute. I'm like, holy crap, that was fast. And then we ended up just talking. And so yeah, I felt like that happened for a reason. And I feel like we'll go more into this in this conversation in this episode, and just fate and just the synchronicities and being aligned with your mission and your vision and your purpose. I feel like when you're on the right track, people will show up in your life that are meant to show up in your life. And it doesn't mean it's going to be a perfect or smooth sailing. Sometimes people show up in your life to teach you a lesson. But I feel like when it's right, it's right. And I feel like being here with you guys right now is perfect. It's perfect timing because, I started a lot of this, my journey with podcasting for the most part, where I really started to learn a lot of great stuff. And now I'm circled all the way back and starting a network with the Vegans Explore network where, vegans who lift, it's the beginning of what we have in store. We're going to have the Vegans Explore podcast. We have the Pre-Vegans podcast, and who knows what we'll have after that. But it's so amazing to have you guys on the Vegans Who Live podcast and all the great stuff that you're doing. I mean, I looked around, there's nothing like this, what you guys have going on. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the producer, but honestly, just like to have the perspective of both of you guys and for you guys to have that relationship that you have, to bring that dynamic and to go be so real and authentic. Like there's a reason we title every episode Getting Real ... It's not just a catchy thing. It's and all right, I'm gonna stop talking right now. I'm like,
Very well
Well,
said. Beautifully
I
said.
think I think that's kind of how episode 1 was. Like that we got off, we're like, we're gonna tell these people we're keeping it real. There's nothing like fake about this. We're not manufacturing anything. We're keeping it real. And I think it's super funny, coincidental, universe, whatever. I did something a little silly in that first episode. I was recording without pants. So if anybody ever saw that one on YouTube, I wasn't wearing pants. And funny enough today, I'm not wearing pants again. Right as this episode, it's like the circle of pantsless life. I don't know how it happened today, but I've been so
Oh
busy.
my gosh. Yep, keeping it real. I mean, but that's
For
what we
real.
wanted. We wanted it to just be, and we all talked about this. So I hope people have enjoyed it. I mean, me and John were just looking at our numbers today and getting really excited and talking about how this month should surpass last month. And I don't know. I feel like we've gotten some really, really good feedback about it. So I feel like people have enjoyed it. It's certainly refreshing, I think, too. I mean, we've had some really good guests on, but I love that we have conversations with our guests. Like it's more than just how did you go vegan and when did you go vegan? Like these basic questions that you hear a lot. Like we've actually gotten to know our guests. And I feel like every time we've had somebody on, like I've learned something or I've learned a lot about them. And it's just given me a new perspective on veganism or our community. Like it's been a really awesome experience. And yeah, I love it. So glad to be here with you guys.
woo! Episode 12, season 1. This is a huge
Wow.
milestone, everybody.
Season finale.
And listeners, you've come along on this journey and you're here. In season 2, guess what? Ain't no stopping us now. We're gonna keep going, and we got some great guests lined up too. So keep checking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the feedback we get, like, I wish we had a way of like publicly sharing all the feedback, because it seems like every day now I get a DM like, "Oh my God, I'm listening to your podcast. Like, I just found you on Instagram. I love the podcast." And I've actually gotten 2 of those today. One is a hopeful client. He just dropped his application and he's like, "I listened to the podcast." I'm like, I wanted to work with you." And my wife is working with Brooke, and I'm like, "This is cool. Like, we're reaching people, like, not just from coaching side or something like that, but like people are actually listening and getting value out of this." So that's what makes it special to me. Because if I have a one-on-one conversation, there's so many times I'm like, I wish I was secretly recording this so I could put it out to the world. So it's like we're kind of doing that here, and
Mm.
and giving a lot of value along the way.
Love it, love it.
Well, question game. We ready for the question game?
Let's do it.
Yeah, Sean
Questions.
gets to
John, you're
join.
finally part of the question game.
Uh,
John, me and John were trying to think of a way to prank you, but we couldn't think. I wasn't quick-witted enough. I couldn't come up with anything.
I was gonna be like, Sean, why is I don't even know what, but like make up a funny question and then put you on the spot. But we didn't put enough thought into this, so we'll just do a real question.
Oh, this is going to be a great one since we have 3 awesome business minds on the podcast. All right, are you guys ready for this?
ready.
I can't wait to hear your answers. If you could buy out any company, what would it be and what would you change? Ooh.
That's a thinker.
I know, I got to think of mine.
I need to go do some research. Here's where my brain. I'll give the immediate gut reaction. I was thinking something like Tyson Foods, and then who can I take farthest from one side and convert them to the other one? So, Sean's reaction indicated to me he's on a similar mindset.
It was actually Tyson, but I'm gonna pick something else.
All right, I think just quick off the top of my head, I think I would probably buy out like some major chain restaurants and put like a whole bunch of plant-based vegan options on the menu and like stuff that everybody had access to. Like you know how people like the same people own like a Longhorns and a Chili's and like Applebee's, like put those places, like make them veganized everywhere. That would be awesome. And so many more people would be turned on to it for sure.
McDonald's vegan style.
So I would buy the United States of America because it is actually a corporation, and I would no. That's a controversial answer. I would, I would. You know what? I would probably buy. I was gonna go along the lines of a fast food chain like McDonald's, but you know what? I'd buy Disney.
Yeah.
I buy Disney because they pretty much own the entire entertainment industry at this point. So I feel like I could do a lot with that in terms of, yeah, Disney's my answer.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because you just went back to the school system. You're influencing young, malleable, open-minded people, children. Just start throwing some vegan Disney movies their way, and then easy peasy done. I was gonna say Amazon might be better than Tyson because they're gonna practically run the world. So just do that. But Disney, I like it's not the direct food, but it changes the mindset, and then the mindset can go buy the correct food.
I get free lifetime entry. Just saying.
Done. Done. I even have you bring a guest. That's how I roll.
I'll bring John. We'll do
There
vegans
we
who
go.
lived at Disney. No, I think that would be really good though. You could make like you guys remember that movie Chicken Little?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And when you watch it now as an adult, as a vegan, you're like, why didn't we all see it then? Because it's like basically promoting veganism in a way. So you could make a ton of movies like Chicken Little, but make them cows and pigs, and they're all saving all the other animals.
I'd bring back Captain Planet.
That's like one of my favorite things, right? I used to watch that as a kid. Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
I was gonna say Chicken Little. Wasn't it like, weren't they the chickens that were like trying to escape because they knew they were gonna be killed?
Yep. And they created like a
How?
chicken army.
That movie's so old. They were so ahead of their time.
Yep.
The movie's so old. Ay, ay, ay.
It's amazing. I mean, you have all these movies about like conservative efforts like to save like the rainforest, and like, you know, you see like Jungle Book is a classic story that, you know, the villagers were like burning down the forest with their fire and causing destruction. And we see these movies time and time again, and it's like nobody ever gets the message, nobody ever changes. 2012. Do you guys remember 2012 where the world ended?
Oh, I think they're
Yeah.
dropping hints. I think they're subtly they're
Yeah.
making us get comfortable with the reality. So when it does happen, we all don't like die from shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlotte's Web. Wasn't that another one?
Yeah, the pig was getting auctioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me think of Robert.
Planting the
Keating.
seed. But I'm curious, Sean, because I don't think I've ever heard, how did you go vegan? I'm really interested.
So I went vegan for my health at first. And it all happened too from a comment, a small comment from one of my family members. They came over and visited, and they patted me on my stomach. They're like, "Oh, you put on a little weight there,"
Oh my
and
God.
I'm just like smiling, like, haha. And then after a while, after that, I'm like running every day. I'm looking at how to improve my diet. I saw this online resource called Beyond Diet, and pretty much it lays out what every single thing you put in your body does to you, what nuts, dairy, everything. So like once I realized that, I couldn't unsee it. If I decided to eat unhealthy, it was because I made the choice to eat unhealthy. So I was seeing results. I was feeling healthy. I was looking for different types of diets to adopt. I looked at paleo. I was on that for a little bit. I had a coworker at the elementary school where I worked, and she was vegetarian. And there was just something about her. She was super chill, super cool, looked like nothing bothered her. So one day after school, I'm like, "Hey, can I talk to you about vegetarianism?" And while she was telling me about it, she mentioned veganism. She was vegetarian, not vegan. And I'm like, I'm like I'm about 2 items away from being vegan. If I eliminate 2 items from I think that was like chicken and something else. And I'm like, okay, let me go vegan because and I was also thinking this is super extreme too. And like I want to do something extreme. So I remember it was 2009. It was 2008, 2009 because I went to LA because of an anime convention. I ran an anime thing similar to like Vegans Explore and Still Full of Vegans. And it was also the time that Michael Jackson died. So it was just like the zoo of media converging with people dressed up as anime characters and video. It was wild. But I say all that to say I was in LA when I stopped being vegan, of all places. And that just goes to show you my next point, that it wasn't about it being hard. It was about me not knowing my why. I didn't have a strong enough reason for being vegan. It was just because I was looking at it as a diet. So as soon as one obstacle showed up for me, whereas I didn't know where anything was, and I'm a creature of habit. I mean, I could have gone to Ralph's, I could have gone to a supermarket, I could have gotten a bunch of fruits and veggies, but I was a transitional vegan, eating a lot of Beyond Meat and stuff like that. And it took me another 4 years before I decided to go vegan again. And so it was in 2013 that I realized my why. And my why was to build community, to help other people decide they want to go vegan. And that perfectly aligns with my mission and my reason why I'm on this earth. And that reason is to build economically sustainable communities. And that's a big part of why I created Vegans Explore and why I started Soulful of Vegans, is because, first of all, I didn't know that was my vision and my vision. That came recently. I just knew I wanted to build communities because it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. It's my comfort zone. I've been doing it since high school, one way or another. So I'm like, let me do it for veganism. But this time it's different. It's different because it's my lifestyle. It's not my interest. It's what I'm going to be for the rest of my life. So if I build a community around that, that's some next level stuff. And it turned out that's the case, because that led to a lot of things that I've done in my life to to transition my psychology, the way I see the world, where now I'm living in gratitude every single day, every single second. And that has helped me out tremendously with a lot of the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys that I've had in my life. And I want to say veganism was that rabbit hole that I went through. And because I decided to take that leap and make that significant change in my life, I was able to be exposed to so many other things. A lot of the stuff you guys talk about on this podcast, I feel like that is that entry point to seeing the world a different way and eliminating these toxic things from your body. And I'm not even just talking about the health aspects, but just the negativity that comes with these animals being slaughtered and then you consuming that. There's a lot of validity to that. So that's pretty much my journey, and I'm so glad that I made that decision. And then the other piece to it too, and I'm sure you two can attest to it. I think you've even mentioned it. I think if anyone who's been vegan for a while now, if you look back to when you were a child, or even ask your parents, I'm sure they will be able to point to the fact that you were headed in this direction. Maybe they didn't realize it at the time. Like for me, I was always a picky eater. I always, didn't eat. I always like my parents are from the Caribbean, so they'd make things like oxtail and liver and a lot of these exotic sort of type foods. And I'd always just have the beans and the rice, you know so it's like little things like that. It's like, okay, I think I was kind of predisposed to wanting to live this lifestyle. So
Yeah, definitely. I've loved animals my whole life. So I wasn't ever a picky eater. I'll eat anything, but I've always loved animals. So when I look back, and at how much I love, like I never had baby dolls or anything like that. I'd stuffed animals, and I loved it. I wanted to be a veterinarian, when I grew up. So it does make sense now. But I am curious because you seem really, really healthy now. So obviously it helped you transition to be a lot healthier. Like what differences have you seen in your health? You said you were, kind of pudgy and they were giving you a hard time about it. Like what other changes have you seen?
so around that time, I had horrible allergies, like to the point where I got that, the prick test, and I was allergic to 38 out of the 40 things on that test.
Ugh.
I had to get shots every single week. And I think a part of it too was just the conditions of where I was working. I think there was a lot of mold and mildew and things of that nature. So it kind of exacerbated whatever made it worse. But it's after I went vegan, and I think dairy also was a big part of that too. Like once I started eliminating a lot of those things from my diet, I noticed that I didn't have any of those issues anymore. I didn't wake up congested. I didn't have to get the shots. So that was the other big significant change in my health. Obviously, dropping a lot of weight, being able to maintain it. Um, you know, yes, I've gone up and down, but now it's the point where it's like I'm choosing. I know if I don't go to the gym, this is going to happen, and if I go to the gym, this is going to, it's like I feel like I have control over it. And I think that just comes from having done it a lot. But I feel like if I wasn't vegan, it wouldn't be as easy, because you'd be binging on a lot of the foods that kind of make those situations worse. And I think when you're vegan, you got to be a little bit pickier with the types of foods that you binge on. So you're probably not eating a whole box of cheese pizza with all of the horrible stuff that comes with eating a whole box of cheese. Not to say that eating a whole box of vegan cheese pizza is even better. I know you guys said that a couple of times, but I feel like the types of foods that you eat as a vegan definitely make it easier to control your health, in my opinion, in my experience.
I
Yeah,
would
I would
agree.
agree. I
I
mean,
think
mostly, you could really, I mean, not that many people are going to go for the fruits and vegetables, but I mean, I do feel like we probably consume more whole foods just naturally than like the general population.
And
I feel like
I'd also say like my taste buds, like my whole flavor palette has changed too,
Oh,
as a result of
yes.
being vegan.
Cool new.
I can't.
What's a cool new food that you have found since going vegan? Both of you. What's your favorite like cool, fun new food that you had since going vegan? That like only vegans would eat. I would say seitan for me. Like I never knew what seitan was before I went vegan, but now I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I was 13, so I don't think I had probably
Oh,
ever tried tofu. I don't think I had ever had seitan or tempeh or any of like the protein substitutes. But there's still like whole worlds of food out there that I didn't try till way older, like Ethiopian food. A lot
yeah.
of like cultural foods aren't centered around meat. Like if you look at like when I went to Renee's Mexican like 5-course meal, Sean, like that was mind blowing. And this chef was making stuff from recipes that he found from like 200 years ago, and longer. And the food, like I've been vegan for 18 years, and that one single meal had so many different aspects and flavor profiles. Almost like overwhelmed. I've
Wow.
never experienced that much variety in a single day in 18 years of being vegan. So like there's still stuff out there that even I haven't tried. So somebody was saying the other day, like, oh, veganism is so limiting. I'm like, how many species of plants are there? And how many species of animals that you eat are there? And they're like, well, there's a lot of animals. I was like, are you for real? There's a lot of plants. There's a lot more out there. And that's when I travel the world next year, I'm excited to go find a bunch of things I've never had before. So
Yeah.
I would, to your question, I would say, and it's a super basic answer, but tofu. Like when I was before I was vegan, I always thought tofu was disgusting. Like who is gonna? I would go to Whole Foods and I would see the tofu and you just touch it and it's like why would someone eat this? This. But then you have all these different ways that they prepare it, and you know it's soy just in general. It's such a dynamic protein in terms of what you can do with it. I feel like it's put me in a position where it's made it easy to be vegan.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a classic. Nutritional yeast is another one. I had never had that.
That's a
Mm,
good
Both
answer.
of your
That's a good
faces.
answer. That's a real good
mm,
answer.
Yeah, that was a game changer. Some popcorn. So good. So Sean,
yeah.
you wanted to build communities by, when you were vegan, transitioning to going vegan. That's how you found your why, was you really wanted to build communities. So how did you go from there, like transitioning your way back to vegan after not being vegan for 4 years, to like finding this passion of helping vegan entrepreneurs like me and John and other businesses like these restaurants you work with?
I mean, it starts from early on, and this is a big reason why I'm so passionate about education. It's about finding your big why and finding what you're passionate about. And I was lucky, super lucky, to find that in middle school, and I was inspired by one of my favorite directors or creators of all time, and that's Steven Spielberg. And after watching Jurassic Park, I was just like, whoa, this is what I get to do for the rest of my life. And then realizing he's behind Men in Black and Poltergeist and Gremlins and all these things that I grew up on. And he wasn't the director for all of those. So that was my aha moment. Not that I wanted to be a director, but that I could be a producer, and figuring out what that meant at that age and be like, wow, I can make all of these things and then help other people make their things and just create these. Because I've always, at one point in my life, my whole life, I've always been telling stories, even by myself. As a kid, I'd be in the corner by myself playing with my toys. And I would even notice when I would play with my friends that we weren't the same and how we played. Like I would go over to my friend's house and we played GI Joes, and he'd just be like, "Bah, bah, bah." And I'm like, meanwhile, I'm at home like setting them up and I'm creating worlds in my room, and this is this city, and then I go to this part and I'm talking to them. It's like, all right, today we have to figure out how to get the things. And I have like whole scenes and it's shifting, it's transitioning. And then that turned into me drawing comics and writing stories, to buying my first camera and start filming and this is in high school. And now I'm in a television production program, working for NBC, working for the Miami Marlins. From there, get to work with MTV, start my own production company, and I'm interviewing hundreds of artists and going around the country to Warp Tour and starting a record label, managing artists, stepping in the world of anime, covering all of the different things that are happening, all the voice actors, all just doing all of that stuff, cutting my chops in terms of media production, jumping from industry to industry, looking into the world of education because I was tired of working retail. That's honestly, that's how I started in education. Somebody told me, hey, you can make more and make your own schedule by being a substitute teacher. I'm like, where do I sign up? I'm done with this. And then from there, got hired my first year as a substitute, worked full time for an elementary school, which I ended up working for another 12 years. So it's just like I went on this path of discovery and was able to really get interested in not only telling my story, but telling the story of other people. And that's what community has allowed me to do. It's allowed me to take all these skills that I've built over the years and not only tell stories, but help people grow, figure out how to generate revenue, build their businesses. And that's kind of turned into me really supporting nonprofits, getting into that world, because I feel like that's where the genesis of my mission has come from, building economically sustainable communities. Now, what does that really even mean? That means helping people that are building businesses that are focused on building community. And communities are a group of people that are gathered around a similar cause. And my cause that connects every single organization and person that I work with is compassion. So if you have a business that's grounded in compassion, I want to do as much as I can to support you. But in that journey, I personally experienced what happens when it's not economically sustainable. You put yourself out there and you do as much as you can until you burn out. And then guess what? You're not helping anybody. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping that business. You're not helping the people that business supports. So sometimes you got to do things differently, even though it doesn't feel good. And that's what I'm learning. You get to work smarter, not harder, because it's about scalability. If you're doing something that's amazing and it takes you a week to complete, I'm sure there's a way to do something equally as impactful that might just take you a day. And then guess what? You build on that, you get 6 other people, and now you're kind of back to where you were. But it's sustainable, and you're not going to wish that you weren't around anymore.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel like you're almost talking to me right there. I'm over leveraging myself, and I think that you're so right. I keep questioning almost every day, is this the best use of my time? Is there a way to scale this? Could I accomplish the same thing or do the same amount of good in another way? Because like you said, if it's not scalable, it's not sustainable, and then it's not going to be impactful. I think that's what all three of us are here to do, is to have an impact.
And
Yeah.
and I feel like there is something to, and I feel like everything happens the way it's supposed to happen too. I feel like if I didn't do things the way I've done them, I wouldn't have the experience that I have. I wouldn't have met the people that I've met. I wouldn't be able to tell the stories that I'm telling right now. And I wouldn't have the perspective to say that something needs to change. Because if it was working, it was working. So now I feel like I'm in a perfect spot where I have that experience. I have stuff to show for it. I have the network. And now it's like, okay, what's the next step? How do we take this to that next level? And that's where we are right now. At the time of listening to this podcast, Vegans Explore is undergoing a major transformation behind the scenes. You know, where we're shifting into a nonprofit model where our focus is in supporting businesses, nonprofits with, wait for it, marketing. I feel not enough people are talking about the how important marketing is. I feel like there's a lot of vegan restaurants, in particular, that if you have conversations with them, they'll brag about their word of mouth. Oh, I don't do any marketing. And I'm like, that's great. And when something shifts and you do need to do marketing, you're going to lose all that momentum that you have right now. So my advice to any business that's out there that's like, my word of mouth is amazing and I don't need to spend money on marketing. Imagine how much more business you would be doing if you did invest in marketing. The fact that you have great word of mouth means you're doing something right and you're ripe for scalability. So take advantage of that and before the market shifts, because guess what? When it shifts, it's usually not because of anything you did. It's because now people can't afford to buy your product or buy your food. And now what? You may be able to get through because people want to see you support and guess what? They'll contribute to your GoFundMe. But if they don't have money to put into the GoFundMe, then you're SOL. So the whole point of me saying that is there's usually two things that happens when the business is looking for marketing. One, they don't know they need marketing. Well, if they're looking for marketing, well, there's two situations people usually fall into. One, they don't know what they don't know. They don't even know what marketing is, or they don't know why they need it. And two, they know why they need it. They know exactly what it is, but they can't afford it. So what Vegans Explore is focusing on is one, making it economical for these businesses to be able to tap into the marketing. And I'll get a little bit into it what I'm talking about later on, because I don't want to spend the whole conversation talking about marketing because it's the Vegans Who Live podcast. Um, and then the other thing is supporting nonprofit organizations, because I feel like that's how you can do the most good, just helping them get to where they need to go. And I'm excited for that.
You are a marketing whiz though. So if there's a vegan business or entrepreneur listening, this is the guy for you. But you are so right about that. And I tell people that all the time. Like if you're a business and you're not on social media, like you are missing out. I used to work at a gym when I graduated college back in 2019. And they had so many clients. They were doing amazing because of word of mouth, like you said. And then COVID hit, the gym shut down. They lost everything. At least if they had had social media, they could have started some more outreach. They could have continued posting. They could have continued at least communicating with their customers. They could have done something. They could have done some workout videos online, anything. But yeah, it's so important to have marketing. Like, yes, word of mouth is important, referrals is important, but marketing is huge. And that's something I had to learn when I first started my business because I was a trainer, I was a coach, I had all this information about nutrition and fitness and I could do that all day, but I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to be a business person. So, like what me and John do, and that's what we're teaching people in our academy is like, you can have all the right skills, you can have the brains, but you also have to be a good business person and you also have to be a good marketer. You got to wear all the hats.
Mm.
So and luckily for me and John, we have you to wear a lot of the hats. So and I was gonna say, like, is that mostly what you help people like vegan businesses do? Like me and John, like you help them scale, you help them market. I know you offer like media services too, right?
Yeah, so I mean, a big part of it is promotion. I look at how can I help the most amount of people, and because I'm practicing what I'm preaching in terms of scalability and figuring out systems, because that's the other part to it as well. Part of that scalability is figuring out a system, how to how to multiply what it is that you do. But before you can multiply it, you have to make it where you can onboard somebody to do exactly what you're doing. And sometimes that means you might have to degrade the quality a little bit because you have to look at how to make it sustainable. That's like, let's say McDonald's, all right, I'm going to make this gourmet burger and it's going to have to put truffles on it and it's going to be infused with these flavor, dot, 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 dot. Okay, now can you do that in under 2 minutes for 1,000 people plus a day? Probably not. So it's like you have to look at how you can create something that's going to help a lot of people. And how we've done that with SoFlo Vegans is through promotion and building a platform where you can post on social media, you can go to a vegan restaurant and try their food, and and then put that up on social media, or go to a festival, a food festival, shoot 12 videos in one day, and then put that up over the course of the month. So it's looking at different ways where, and those businesses don't have to pay 500, $1,000 for each of those videos, because that's content for us. That's creating good faith for those businesses. That's creating opportunities for people within the community to go out and have that experience. So you're servicing multiple stakeholders with just that sort of promotion. But then what does that do? That lets people see what you can do. Oh, wow, this person makes pretty cool videos. Oh, they're pretty consistent. I like their social media content. I need a social media person. I need somebody who can create content for me. And that's how I get most of my clients, through those engagements, through putting the content out the way that we put the content out. Now, the other piece to that is, okay, now you have a model. Let's make the system, and let's figure out a way that other people can start doing it. And that's kind of where I am right now, where, as John mentioned, I'm working for the school board. I actually came back full circle from the school board. Before I started SoFlo Vegans, I was working as a district webmaster for Broward County Public Schools. And I'm in that position again. But guess what? I'm not the same person I was when I left. I feel like I almost needed to leave, go through this journey, do the things that I've done. And I feel like I Forrest Gumped my way into so many different situations. Like, I haven't really even had time to process the last 7 years of my life. It has been amazing, and I'm extremely fortunate and grateful for everything that has happened to me, or rather, that has happened for me. And now I'm in a situation where not only can we build this nonprofit with Vegans Explore, not only can we create content with the Vegans Who Lift All Stars here, we can also make an impact on the lives of the children and figure out a way to bridge them all together, because I believe the children are the future. If you teach them well and let them lead the way, you can show them all the beauty that they possess inside. Just give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be.
Mm.
So powerful. When I brought you on, I mentioned you were a mentor to me. And I think the people listening to this that are on their journey where they're very open-minded and very particular with words might have picked up on it. For the rest of everyone, including myself up until very recently, your words would have been lost on me. But you have this knack where you you like upgrade yourself. Oh, this happened to me. I mean, this happened for me. You do that. I've seen you do it in person. You're very particular with your words. You don't string a sentence along like, we went to the store, but maybe not to the store, but we ran this event, but you say we ran this event and you find a way to make space for both sides of the story. Again, back to storytelling. And then also one thing that I wanted to share with you from this weekend, when I was able to make some content for the Vegans Explore page, there were two businesses there that I partnered with for the reel that had under 400 followers each. And so again, yes, guys, we this is like where we have value. A lot of people think social media is silly or just for fun or just for kids, but this is how we can put vegan businesses on the map. And I remember when you were coming to run an event with me, Sean, I believe the tent and the table got left in the storage locker.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm driving to Gainesville and I realized, I had employed my girlfriend Allie to help me load the car. She loaded the tables perfectly, but I didn't go check the closet because I was like, oh, she got the tables. We're good. I forgot the tent. We're going to
Mm.
Gainesville, Florida, 2 p.m., like hot in the sun. And I was like, I'm going to be like Sean. I'm not even going to worry. The gratitude, the universe is going to provide. And we get there and you're like, oh yeah, we got 2 extra tents. I was like, haha, I didn't be my old self where I would have been biting my fingernails the whole way there. And it's because I was like, what would Sean do right now? He'd probably just say, it'll all work out. And so you really have been a mentor for me. And it's not because you've told me what to do. You've lived it. You've showed me through your own examples of how I can become a better person, how I can be more impactful, how I can speak to myself kinder and at an upgraded level. So I love that you do this. Every day it's like a little learning example for me. So thank you.
Gratitude.
You really are just like so calm. You just have such a cool energy about you. Have you always been that way? Like when you were a kid, or did you have to heal and self-work your way to that?
I'm glad you asked that. Yes, I had to work on this. I had to, and it came from a program. And some people listening to this may know about it, but it's like there's a program out there called Landmark, and it came at a right time. Actually, it wasn't Landmark. It was called Gratitude, but Gratitude is like an offshoot of it. And so if I say Gratitude, people won't know what I'm talking about. But it's an offshoot of a program like Landmark. And the whole idea behind it is it puts you through different experiences, different exercises with other people in the same room where it gives you awareness of your operating system. You know, it helps you realize kind of like what those traumas were that you experienced as a child that have brought you to the person that you are today. And then once you figure out what that is, the next step is then, okay, what do I do with that? How do I tie that to my vision of what I want to do, who I want to be, and not let that stop me and work through that. And then the final part is, okay, I have all this information, I have these tools, now let me do it in the real world. And all through the while, you will be supported by a support system of your peers, of people who are running the program. So I say all that to say, I did that for 3 years. And it was a combination of me being a student, graduating from that, then coming back, volunteering my time and supporting the next group, Ratchet people, then coming back and being a captain over those people, then coming back and being a trainer. So it allowed me to synthesize those lessons. Whereas now I'm saying I get to, I'm saying and instead of but, and I'm being mindful. And I feel like another piece of it is I didn't realize it's what I was doing until I start really like listening to Eckhart Tolle and all these different speakers and things of that nature, as far as mindfulness and meditation. I've been doing it since I was in elementary school and didn't even realize it. I remember one day in the fifth grade, we're transitioning from classes, and I just said to myself, I wonder what it'd feel like to not think. And I just kind of blanked out. And I was just like, oh. And a teacher kind of was just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Huh?" And I started walking, and I've always sort of done that. A lot of times people will see me, if you've ever seen me in person and it looks like I'm deep in thought, I'm not deep in thought, I'm blanked out. I'm just like just chilling. And I feel like the reason I'm saying that is because I think people have a misconception of what meditation is and feel like you have to do it a certain way and you have to be sitting in the lotus position and this and have this music and have a incense burning. And I make up that we grow in our discomfort. We grow in situations where it's not an ideal surrounding, it's not an ideal setting. When you're going through those hardships, it's because you're leveling up. And the whole idea is for you to get through that. So that way, the next time something like that happens, you're prepared for it. Learn from those lessons. And I feel like that's why things happen for us instead of to us. So I feel like all these little pieces that I've mentioned have helped me for what's next. And do I know what's next? No. And that's what's exciting. If I knew what was next, it wouldn't be fun. And I can go deeper into the conversation and in terms of like who I think I really am. And you might have to say that for another time. Because another part of me is I like to channel surf. I like to make sure that I'm connecting with who I'm speaking with, and I can go out there because I believe any and everything. Because I feel like that's a fun way to live life.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there that I won't consider. I'm always open to being wrong.
Aliens?
I'm waiting to have a conversation with someone that convinces me not to be vegan because that's gonna be a powerful conversation, and I'm
Yeah.
open for that. But it has yet to happen. So yeah, I felt like I was going all over the place, but I think I've landed right back.
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
imagine you not as a vegan, so it would have to be quite the conversation.
Woo.
I do like that you said that bit about how a lot of people have a misconception about meditation. I feel that way. I totally feel that. I have never been that person who can sit down like with my legs crossed and not listen to anything and just meditate. Like that has never really worked for me. John, are you a meditator?
So I'm dating Allie, and she's very much into all this woo-woo stuff. Um, and I'm more open-minded on my journey now. And so we went to the beach the other day. And what's interesting is the first time we went to the beach, she just looked at me and she's like, "You're not having fun. You're thinking about the 500 things you have to do when you get home in 2 hours." I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm planning out my night." And she's like, "You're not present at all." And I was like, I don't know if I can be. So the next time we went to the beach, I was like, I'm gonna do a better job. I'm gonna put my phone down for a minute. And actually, Sean, I think he messaged me right when I got there. So I sent you a photo of the beach. Then I put my phone down and I did something. Justin Mahaley, he has a podcast, and he has mentioned this before, and I've heard this in other places. I've just never tried to implement it. I laid down on the beach, I closed my eyes, and I tried to listen until I heard 10 different sounds. So, like, I heard a woman talking, that was one sound. I heard a bird, that was another sound. I heard the beach, the rolling of the waves, that was another sound. I heard some Spanish music, so I'm at like 4. Once I hit 4, it really slowed down. Like, I was struggling to find more sounds. And by the time I got to 8, I did the Sean thing. I was clocked out. I was somewhere else. I was almost like lucid dreaming until I don't know, like 10 minutes later, Allie was like, "You want to go for a walk?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm here. I'm at the beach." So like I wasn't sleeping, but I wasn't fully conscious either. I was kind of in this in between. And it actually really grounded me for a little bit. And so this is very new for me. It sounds very weird hearing these words come out of my mouth. But I feel like that's one way that we can practice like mindfulness or meditation without the crossing of the legs and the incense. And you could do that anywhere. You could do that at a bus stop. You could do that at school. You could do that at the gym if you needed to. Like, it's weird. It's almost like you're trying so hard to listen that you eventually stop listening and just kind of like your mind just goes blank. So that was how it worked for me.
Interesting. I've never heard that. So now I'm gonna have to try it. I feel like I'm gonna go to the park and lay on the ground and try it.
And I think another offshoot of that, and this is for me, I make up it's an intense presence is what meditation is. And I feel like we also experience that when we're in our flow state. And so it's when you're in that flow state, you're so present on what you're doing that time shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And another way of that is I experience it every day when I'm driving. Have you ever went somewhere and then you don't realize how you got there?
Oh yeah.
I make up that's intense presence. You've done it so often that you don't even have to think about it. And now all of a sudden, then you lose that gap of time because you're not thinking about anything except nothing. You're just whatever's showing up is showing up and it's flowing through you. So I feel like being present is such an important aspect of recharging yourself. I think it's equally as important as sleep, because you can wake up, you can have 7 hours, I say 7 hours, you can have 8+ hours of sleep and still wake up tired.
Yeah.
So it's like resting your body and resting your mind are important. And I also feel like everything's a journey. Everything's a journey. And the more you open yourself up, that's why I love veganism, because it's like, it's just one thing to kind of shift your paradigm. And I feel like once you start shifting your paradigm or stepping into a new reality, the world, it's almost like if you play video games. I always equate it to like
Mm,
Legend of Zelda, or one of those video games where you start to go to different places and the world map opens up more and more and more. I feel like when you do things like that, your world map opens up more. You start meeting people, you start vibrating on a different frequency. So people who are on those similar frequencies you start attracting yourself to them, and people who aren't on those same frequencies, you start to have different sorts of relationships with them. They sort of fall off. All these things I feel like are just tied into the energy that we are.
Mm,
yeah. You
yeah.
might lose some friends, but you'll find your people.
Yeah.
And I think you'll realize that you were surrounding yourself with people that held you back, whether they're friends or family, and usually not through any ill intention. But like Sean said, going through uncomfortable things leads to growth. A lot of people don't want to be uncomfortable.
Hmm.
So by
Ain't
you
that the
doing
truth?
that, they're gonna be like, "Ooh, don't do that. That's too much for me. So if you do it, I don't know if I can be around you." And it's like, well, whether that's being vegan or going to the gym or meditating or reading or leveling up in your career or anything, there's there's like a different trajectory with the right people. Talking with you two, it's a different level than back when I used to bag groceries. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is on another level and we're moving in other levels. And I feel like with the Zelda thing, with the world map, it's almost like learning a cheat code when you can be like, oh, I can rewrite my beliefs. I don't have to eat meat for protein. I don't have to go to this job to make money. I can sell what I know. I can influence these people. I feel like what I've been trying to do in my own journey this last 6 months or so is like manufacture value out of thin air.
Mm.
What we do for Vegans Explore, it costs nothing. What we do is we connect vegan businesses with vegans and with the world and grow a network and a community. And that didn't cost anything. We didn't have to buy wood or pay for TV commercials. We just take these ideas that are inherently valuable and that can help generate business. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but we'll figure it out.
Sean, what would you say out of all of the people you've worked with and all the businesses you've worked with, what would you say has been your favorite success story?
Wow. I'm gonna say I don't know if about a success story, but one of the most impactful things I've done since I started this vegan journey was um, work with one person in particular at the very beginning of my journey, and her name is Susan Hargreaves, and she runs an organization called Animal Hero Kids. And the reason I say her is because she reminds me of myself. And she's been vegan for 40 years and has been an animal rights activist, a humane educator for 40 plus years. She came up with Ingrid Newkirk from PETA before PETA was even a thing. And she's been at it. She's been working with children. She's been, you know, saving animals, rescues, all of she's her organization pretty much helps children find their voices in the animal rights movement. And she's supported so many people that have gone on to do amazing things. Like, I don't know how, maybe some of your listeners know, but like Genesis Butler, who has done amazing things in the animal rights movement, who's worked with Marvel, who has done things with Billie Eilish. She's been recognized, winning awards from dignitaries, started with her. Vegan Evan started with her. All these children who've done amazing things found the platform through what she's been creating. But then the other piece to that is, I don't feel like she gets the recognition that she deserves. But she hasn't quit. She keeps on doing it and is silently making a difference. Now she's starting to get some recognition. She launched a documentary with the creator of Earthlings, Sean Munson, who directed her documentary. She's launched a program called Veganza, where she's traveling the world, inspiring children. But the other piece to it as well is, I learned, my interaction with her shifted me from just being a vegan who's doing it for my health, who understands, yes, I'm also making an impact on the animals, bonus, to, oh, I get why people are doing it for the animals. And it wasn't because she sat there and explained it to me, but I felt it. And it really started with a simple question. It was like, why are, I think I asked her, why are petting zoos bad? Because in my mind, it's like, okay, you're showing love to the animals, and you're giving them love and you're giving them attention. What's so wrong? They're not eating, they're not trying to eat them, they're feeding them. What's wrong with a petting zoo? And she just simply said, no anger, no, you were wrong. How dare you ask that question? She just said, put yourself in the position of that animal. Would you want to be there? And I'm like, hmm, wow, simply stated. And I got the point. I wouldn't want to be forced to have people pet me. Yes, I may want to be pet every once in a while, but it's like, all right, I wake up. This again, you know what I mean? And to be confined and not be able to. So it's like, okay, I got that. And then the other piece to it too is just, I've met so many amazing people through her. I actually, that whole thing I told you about, the whole 3 years thing with the transformation I went through, it actually started from her introducing me to the founders of this festival, that the amazing festival called Seed, Food, and Wine, to those founders, and me building a relationship with them and them inviting me to that program. So I'm just connecting the dots right now. If it wasn't for Susan connecting me to those people, I probably would not have gone down that road to unlock all the stuff I unlocked for myself, which then brought me to which eventually brought me here. So yeah, I just wanted to take that moment to really show my love to Susan Hargreaves. Animal hero kids, be an animal hero. Just watch the heart whisper. Oh my God, I almost forgot the name of the documentary. Watch the heart whisper, and you'll find everything you need to know about Susan.
I'm gonna have to add that to my list. I have not seen it myself. I
I
think
haven't seen that one either.
I want to make a side point here. I know in my own journey, and especially in some of the younger, especially some of the younger males that I coach, they're always, am I doing the right thing? Am I at the right spot? Well, what am I doing with my life? I mean, I've even had those thoughts to myself in the last month. Seeing you on your journey, a little bit ahead of me, seeing where I'm at now. You mentioned this earlier, like every event that we go through helps prepare and shape us for what's next. So if you're on your journey and you're like, I don't know if this is where I should be in the future. I don't know if this is right for me. You might still be learning valuable lessons. You might just need to meet that person that gives you that little push in the right direction. Sean, you've been a big part of that push for me, getting my whole brand manager, your role as a brand manager, getting my brand together has been huge for me, and opening my eyes to what we can do for charity. and not just donating a couple dollars, but how we can change the world through it. So that was another side thing that just popped into my head.
You've worked with so many incredible people, I feel like.
I know, Miss Meatless Muscle, bodybuilding vegan, high level
I know,
stuff,
and
Sean.
I know you've got some great connections. What would you say has been the most rewarding for you, the most rewarding part of your entire career doing this?
Oof. That's part of the unpacking of it all. It's like I'm so in it, you know? It's like when I get to make time for me to step back and be like, okay, what? Let me take it in, you know, because it's and I feel and I'm learning this now and I get it why people are always striving for more because it's almost like especially when you're around people you've grown up with for years and for decades and you get together, maybe a whole batch of time has gone by and you get back together with them. You're not like, "Oh, you've gotten older. Oh, look at this." No, you're like you feel like just like when you first met. It's just things are picking up. You know, you are even with a sibling or whatever. It's like I still look at my brother who's 3.5 years older than me, and it still feels like when we were kids when we're talking to each other. He has a whole family now, and it's just like nothing changes. And I feel like that's with the accomplishments and the things and the people and all the things that I've done. It's I feel like, and I think that's self-preservation as well, because a part of me sometimes is thinking like when you see a celebrity who's won Oscars and who's become millionaires and all these sort of things, part of me is always thinking like, how do they feel after that? You know, like what's next? Like how do you top? And I feel like that's the trap that we fall into. You know, where it's like, okay, this isn't good enough. I want this, I want that, I want this. So I'm getting to this point in my life right now where I don't really hold on to those sort of things because, you know, it can go the other way where it's like you start comparing yourself to the version of yourself that used to be and being like, oh wow, I was on national television. Oh, I did this. Oh, I traveled the world. I did all these different things, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not where I want to be right now. And I'm part of that gratitude and that positive mental mindset sort of situation that I'm in right now in my life is where it's like, you know what, I'm grateful for right now. I'm grateful that I can, damn, I'm grateful that I can pick up my phone and call my family and speak to them because I know that's not promised. That's not promised a second from now. So it's like, what am I grateful for? What are the things that really make me happy, that make me kind of genuflect and be like, yeah, it's the fact that I have an awesome life. I get to wake up and live my purpose. Every single thing that I do, every single thing that I do, even being on this podcast right now is 100% aligned with my vision, my mission, and my purpose. And I know that's not the case for everybody. Even the job that I have right now, perfectly aligned with what I'm up to. It's giving me the structure that was missing from what I was doing before, where now I'm able to double my business. I'm able to grow. I'm able to find new opportunities because I'm surrounded by the largest employer in my county, you know? So it's like this is the best time to be alive right now. And the reason it's the best time to be alive right now is because you're alive right now.
Yeah, that makes me think of this post I saw someone make the other day. Well, it was actually a question box on her story. John, you follow her, Jack Jenny. Shout out to Jack Jenny if she listens to this. I don't know if she does or not, but hopefully she does. And she posted, what is your definition of success? What makes a person successful to you? And I really thought about it because I'm just like, it's not really to me a fancy car, a whole bunch of money in the bank, a huge mansion. Like really genuinely to me, it would be living a life that's aligned with your purpose, that you feel like you're you're benefiting the world, and people appreciate you, you're loved. um and I'm like, those are the simple things, like just having people who love you, like just having my mom who thinks the world of me and loves me, like that's success to me. uh you know Living out my dream, I used to write down in my journal when I was 21 every single day, like I will be a fitness coach. I'm gonna have my own business by the time I'm 25. I'm gonna, be a vegan inspiration on Instagram. And I used to write that in my journal every day, and I'm literally living it now. So it's just crazy. Like sometimes you have to perspective check yourself, and I really needed that because I've been so busy lately. It's kind of been all consuming, and I haven't had that minute to reflect, to just be like, this is the life that I asked for and this is the life that I'm living, and truly I wouldn't rather be doing anything else. Like there's nothing I would rather be doing. If if I made if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still get up and do all the stuff that I'm doing. Like it's crazy. But sometimes you just like, I needed that perspective check. So when I think about, what makes someone successful, I think it's like exactly what you're doing, like living out your purpose. Like there's so many people that wake up every day and they sit in an hour of traffic, and then they get to work and they hate their life. They're at, in 8-9 hours at work, working for somebody they can't stand. Then they go home, and they go to bed pretty much. It's like a lot of people don't get to say that they love their life and they're living their purpose and they're helping people and they're living their passion. So it's definitely something to be grateful for. And all three of us are doing that and living out our passion and our dream.
I had to redefine success for myself. After hearing like your goals and where you're at now. Originally, like I thought 6 figures in a good car, retirement account, significant other, like that's what I want. And short of the car, I'm there right now. I look around and I'm like, this apartment is actually more than I need. My car works plenty well. I make more money than I need to pay my bills. So if I didn't have people like you and Sean in my life kind of expanding my horizons to what I can do with it, I don't know if I'd feel successful. Maybe I would have, because when I was like 20, I would be like, oh yeah, this is successful. This is, look at the money. And now I'm realizing like the money for me, it doesn't matter. I don't need more stuff, but I want to be a change in the world. And I'm very grateful that now I get to kind of pick and choose who I work with. If 2 companies approach me, it's like, which company donates some money back to animal charities, or which company wants to push vegan products? And that's how I make my decision. It's not like I just take whatever comes my way anymore. So for me, success would be defined as getting rid of factory farming. I think I could like sit down and rest after that's done for a little bit. I don't know if that'll happen in my lifetime. I hope it does. But for me, at least, success will be working towards that every day until it does happen. And hearing about, correct me if I'm wrong, Susan Hargreaves. I've been vegan 18 years, more than half my life. The life of a legal adult. And if I relived all of that again, I'm still 4 years behind her. I'm hearing, even in this episode, we got a long way to go. But with the right people and the right mindset, it's not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like the world's changing. I mean, plant-based is bigger than ever. And I feel like now, and especially I'm excited to read Robert's book, which comes out next month, I think, right?
Gosh, it's flying by. Yeah, June.
Or June. It comes out in June. I'm already in May. Wow, no, in 2 months. But yeah, because like I feel like there's so many different ways to reach people now. Like Sean, like me and Sean, like I really relate to you because I did go vegan for health too. So that was initially what got my attention, because I come from a family of like diabetes, hypertension, heart attacks, strokes, like you name it. And then the animals is what kept me vegan. So there's all these different ways we can reach people now. And like for you, you're helping people find success. So so these people can still continue to, like you said, be financially stable, because that's huge. Because if a vegan business closes, how many people does that really impact down the line? A ton. So you're providing so much value for like future generations just by helping people figure out how can I be financially stable and, create income for myself and stay open. Which is so important, especially COVID. I feel like COVID hit. I know in Atlanta here, we had some really big vegan restaurants shut down, and it was so sad.
And I would say the reality too, it kind of is going along those lines of why it's important to go out there and support vegan establishments. It's getting rough out there, and I feel like one of the gifts that has come from doing Vegans Explore is to see how the vegan communities are doing in other parts of the country, being tapped into that. And it's easy just to look at your own backyard and be like, wow, businesses are closing, or they're shutting down. I'm hearing a new one shutting down pretty much every other week. But normally it's like for every two that shut down, there's one that opens. And I don't see that happening. And I feel like it's a canary in a coal mine of there's something happening. And I feel like you could look at that as doom and gloom. You could look at that as what are we going to do? But once again, that positive mind shift is what is the opportunity? What is the gift from this? And that's not always easy to do, but it's a good indicator of where you are. If you could find a gift in tough situations and it sounds and it feels authentic, that means you're on the right track. And for me, the gift is I get to step up. I get to figure out how to make Vegans Explore economically sustainable so that way we can impact millions of lives. We can support thousands of nonprofits. We can support thousands of local family-run businesses. And that's going to then plant that seed and allow the whole community to grow, for people to then find their purpose in stepping into the Explorer program and to stepping into one of these paid positions, from being the leader in their community. Because community is at the heart of everything. Everything goes in cycles. The reason that we are going into this digital age that we're in right now, where everybody's on their phones and people aren't really connecting in person as much as they used to, is because eventually we're going to get tired of that. And we're going to crave community again. We're going to crave being out with people. And guess what? As the people who can leverage both of those worlds, the digital and the in-person world, that are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. And I feel like Vegans Explore is a platform for those leaders to find themselves. And I honestly wouldn't have gotten here. I mean, I probably would have gotten here eventually, but the same way that, me helping this podcast help you guys get to the podcast quicker, me being able to support you guys, not even just with the podcast, because there's a lot of stuff we do behind the scenes. It's helped me realize what's possible and how to scale that out to be able to help as many people as I can. So gratitude to the both of you for coming into my lives when you did. Because when you came into my life, speaking of things happening for you, the genesis of how we came together was probably one of the roughest experiences of my life. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but now I'm seeing the reason it was the roughest experience of my life is probably because it was the biggest growth spurt of my life. And that pain I was feeling was because I was leveling the F up. And now I'm in a position, and I know why now. Now I'm back in the saddle, doing what I love, working with the children, and I'm getting ready to take this last 7 years of SoFlo Vegans and level that up into something that's the world has never seen before.
Hell yeah.
Epic.
You just have such the right mindset. I'm gonna have to pick your brain off the podcast about what you were going through, but you being able to channel that pain into growth, it's so powerful. Like, I hope anybody listening to this can do that. If they're in what feels like a painful spot, embrace that. Don't cover it up with drugs. Don't cover it up with alcohol. Sit there and feel it. Brooke asked me, I think, on one of our questions here, like, if you could only keep one memory, what would it be? And it'd be, for me, it might sound silly to some people, but the breakup I went through in 2022 is the hardest part of my personal journey. And that's what I would hold on to, because that's made me who I am today. If I didn't have that pain, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. And it's not pain like, oh, I hate this person, or pain like, oh, it's so negative. Like, it's like I needed that. I needed to feel that to spring me into where I'm now. And so whatever you were going through in September, October of last year, look at where we're at now. And we're just getting started. I got a couple more questions on our list, Brooke, that I'd love to hear from Sean, and then I have an exercise. What's been your favorite part of the Vegans Who Live podcast so far?
The favorite part of the Vegans Who Live podcast. Oh my goodness. I would say, it sounds cheesy and hokey, but just the two of you, just to watch you guys, the friendship between the two of you. Like, I love that. I love it. It's so refreshing, because I know I see you guys behind the scenes. And let me just say, everyone watching, listening, it's not a show. It's literally, turn this off and we're talking about like next episode. It's the same. It's the podcast still. This is authentic. And yeah, because I think another piece of it, because I feel like I'm getting to know you two, being able to play a small part in helping the world see that as well, that's actually my favorite part. It's being able to play a small role in showing, not just because both of you, obviously, you have amazing, presences on your own, right? But just being able to play a role in bringing you together and creating and showing the dynamic of the two of you together. That's my favorite part.
Oh, I love that. I was not expecting that, but that's very good. I love that.
Our relationship is interesting. Like, we are definitely best friends, and we're also somewhat in a unique spot in this industry to be the coaches that we are with the people we work with. It's interesting. We at least have two husbands and wife teams now, where one works with one of us and one works with the other. And even today, I had a really difficult client question, like an ethics question, like, should I charge this person or should I not? I didn't know who else to ask, so I sent it to Brooke, and she gave me the perfect answer. She gave me the answer. It was already in my head. Like, I think I knew the right thing, but I wanted to hear it from somebody I trusted. So I trust her as a friend. I trust her as a business partner. I just love you, dude. I'm so grateful that we have this. It's very special.
Me too. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I knew it would be great. I knew we would have so much fun doing it. I knew that. Like, I knew we would get on and just shoot the shit like we do when we call each other, and like we can be on the phone for like an hour just, saying whatever, talking about our day, talking about our clients, social media, some crazy person we saw. So like I knew all that, but it's just even so much better than I imagined it. And I think Sean was like the perfect, tie to bring it all together. I feel like all three of us, we just work really well together.
I agree.
And then we also wanted to ask him. Yeah, go ahead.
What's been the biggest behind the scenes challenge? Maybe something me and Brooke don't even know, but maybe we do know. But like, for you, what's been in these 12 episodes, or maybe getting it off the ground or whatever it was, what's been the biggest challenge for you?
What's been the biggest challenge for me? I want to have an answer for you. The biggest challenge, I guess, has been coming up with an answer for this question. No, I'm just kidding. Um, um, honestly, it's. I really wouldn't say I can think of anything that's been super challenging. I really, yeah. So the whole in this whole conversation, I've been going between different lingo, and just a little insight into the way I think. So I there's a hierarchy, and it goes from problem, challenge, opportunity, and gift. And I see this experience fully as a gift. I don't see any challenges. It's not hard for me to shift anything that happens in here to a gift. That's not to say everything. Sometimes I do. I rarely have problems, but but I sometimes this in the space of having a challenge, but I can't say I have any challenges with you guys or with this podcast.
Maybe,
I enjoy it.
maybe I'll rephrase it. What have you had to think the most outside the box or use the most of your mental capacity to get happened? Like, has it been finding locations? Has it been finding a way to schedule the episodes? I have no idea what you do behind the scenes.
Yeah, no. I mean, I once again, this is stuff. I mean, I've probably produced over 2,000 podcast episodes in my life. You know, 15 plus shows and things of that nature. So this there really hasn't been anything too complicated with this. And you guys have been easy to work with. That would have been another thing if you were difficult. You show up when you're supposed to show up. You run for 2 hours and you're good. You come off, you're receptive to feedback, and so there. What is there really for me to like have a challenge with? It's you guys have been amazing, and I'm not just saying that because you're in front of me. Um, yeah, I honestly don't have any challenge. Okay, if I had to pick something, it is. I honestly don't have anything. I'm sorry.
You're like, it's a piece of cake. You did have a huge anime podcast, so you have tons of
Yeah.
experience. And luckily, me and John are not prima donnas because that would certainly make it harder.
Yeah, it's usually dealing with personalities that's hard when you're producing something for someone for another person. And if the personalities are copacetic, then it's usually, and everything else is like, okay, you got to grow it. Yeah, you got to do this. You got to get the numbers. You got to get people to like. He's like, okay, it's not like I'm working with people who don't have an audience already, so it's like I can't complain there. It's just a numbers game. We just got to keep putting it out, stay consistent, and take advantage of opportunities. And that's what we're doing. And that for me is fun. It's like figuring out, okay, how do we solve this Rubik's Cube? I almost kind of want a challenge because when you do get there, it's even that much sweeter.
Yeah, if we had 1 million downloads tomorrow, I mean, I'd be freaking ecstatic, but I'd also be like, well, now what? So that's
You
kind of
caught
how I
you're a dog chasing a car and it stops. It's like,
am. What?
damn it, you wasn't supposed to do
The
that.
game's not fun anymore.
We'd be like 2 million.
Yeah, that's what I did with the head tattoo. As soon as we hit $5,000, I called Allie. I'm like, I got it, and she's like, "Yay, that's so awesome!" I was like, "No, I should have gone higher." Like that's how my brain works, and I'm gonna have to be more like Sean here, slow it down a
Me
little bit.
too. I know. I need to go to this program. It sounds awesome.
Yeah. All right. I know Brooke has to run here in just a minute. So I have an exercise. You can both do it, but I'm gonna really focus on Sean with it. If you're open to it, Sean.
I'm always open.
Of course you are. Will you close your eyes? Try to clear your head. Take a deep breath. Let it out. One more. And now start to think, where is Vegans Explore in 5 years? And when you open your eyes, I want you to tell me where you're at 5 years in the future. Not right now, not in 2024, but 2029. Where's Sean? Where's Vegans Explore? And what do we get to look forward to
uh,
whenever you're ready?
I love you for this exercise. Um, in 5 years, Vegans Explore is in 200 different cities across the world with hubs that serve as community centers for the vegan community and anyone that's interested. We do everything that we're doing right now. We're tapped into every single vegan business. We're an incubator for new vegan businesses. We host and support over 50 events a month in each of those cities. And we have a global network that connects everybody through an app, through live tours, through content. We have the most robust and well known podcasting network with our marquee podcast, the Vegans Who Live podcast, on season 10. And the world is a better place for the animals, for the people that live on the planet, for the planet itself, although the planet doesn't need our help. And I get to wake up every morning and be present, to be grateful, and I get to be surrounded by the people that I love.
Mm,
I'll
you're
see
gonna
you
make
in
it
5 years.
happen. Yep. If anyone wants to
We're
work
gonna-
with Sean, be prepared to do this exercise.
This was my first real interaction with Sean. He asked me to do this exercise back in November. I want that video because I want to see everything. I want to nail everything that I put in my video in 5 years and be able to prove that it happened. And you know what? This is going out on the podcast now, so it's spoken. Maybe not even 5 years, but let's do it. I feel you've given me so much vision in my life, Sean. Thank you. You're helping lead the way, and I think we can do it. I know we can do it. We have to do it. There's no choice. This is what we're here for.
I love it. If anybody wants to work with you, Sean, what should they do? Should they DM you? Should they?
Yeah, you can go to lasaris.com, or you can go to SeanARussell.com. That's my personal page where it has all my information. Vegans Explore, obviously. You can reach out to Brooke or John, and they'll put you in touch with me. I'm not hard to find. I'm out there, and yeah, connect. And I'd love to figure out how we can support each other.
Love it. Highly recommend. If anyone wants my testimony, Sean has helped me tremendously with my business and all sorts of things that I wanted to start, like my email list, my YouTube, and he really got the ball rolling for me. The podcast. So I can't recommend someone enough. He is the best producer, best social media manager ever.
I think arguably the best decision of my life was going vegan. Arguably the best business decision of my life was hiring Sean. He's helped giving me, like I said, I was speaking earlier on my life journey. You've given me so much clarity on where I want to be, but to be on my life journey, I need to have my business journey squared away, and you've done a phenomenal job, sir. Thank you.
And I'll say this, we're only getting started. As I level up, it's gonna impact you guys as well. And it's happening. And I'm internally forever grateful for you two stepping into my life. And if you're listening to this right now, what I will say is make sure you guys, if you are messaging them and you're showing them how much you love them, let the world know. Go to vegansexplore.com, get to their page, and leave a voice message. I would love to put your comments of your love or your appreciation for what these two are doing I would love for us to have an episode where the world gets to not only share how they feel about the podcast, but share how they feel about themselves. I want to hear from you guys. I feel like that would be such an amazing episode to have in season 2. So if there's one wish I have for anybody listening to this right now, let your voice be heard. The world deserves to hear your amazing thoughts.
Love it.
Guys, season 1 is done.
Woohoo!
It's
a wrap.
It's flown by.
Wow, 12 episodes.
Just like that. I already knew from episode 1. We're doing season 2. Now we're actually doing it. So I think that's it. I love you both. I'm so grateful. It's been one of the best projects of my entire life, and we're just getting started.
Stay tuned for season 2. We got some awesome guests. It's going to be another amazing episode, or 12 episodes of the Vegans Who Live podcast.
I think we're all a little speechless. Y'all know what to do. Share this with your people. Put it out there. If you got any questions, reach out. We love you all.
Wait. Who else did they share it with?
Oh,
Alex's goats.
Alex's goats.
You can't forget Alex's goats.
They're going to be offended.
All right, y'all. Take care.